Hi, good evening everyone. Today is the day 54 of Gear Up Mains Answer Writing, and in this week we are discussing the question of ethics. Okay, and in the previous week we discussed the question of all the general study subject, even it's a GS1, GS2, GS3, either it's a history, polity, geography, economy, governance. And now we are on the last lap of this program, the Gear Up Mains Answer Writing, and this is the second last day of this program. If you are writing continuously the question provided by the Edukemy and you're submitting your answers to the Edukemy portal, means you will see the improvement. You will see how your understanding of the question is increased. If you are new here, I will suggest please try to watch all the videos, try to write all the answers and get them evaluated. Okay, so let's see what's the question for today. The question is, an unexamined life is not worth living, Socrates. If you see the ethics question paper, most of the time you will find the three questions are related to the quotes. They are given the quotes of the thinker, and you need to decode these quotes and need to write the answer in the 150 words. Need to write the answer in 150 words. So means these three quote questions carry 30 marks, 10 marks each. So we need to be prepared well for these kind of the question as well. An unexamined life is not worth living by Socrates. What do the following quotation means to you? इस quotation का meaning UPSC कैंडिडेट से बेटर कौन जान सकता है? Importance of examination in life. Without examination, how the life perform, how we can check the contribution of ourselves in the society, how we can check we are require the wisdom or we require financial wealth. Without the examination, we even cannot check the progress in our life, how we are doing, what we are doing. So that's why I am saying this quotation can be best decoded by an UPSC candidate, those who are preparing for this examination. Okay, so let's see what is the demand of the question here. We are usually dividing the question into three parts. First part is the introduction, where we decode this quote. Then we will reach to the body part, and finally we will conclude the answer. In body part, we will write about how an unexamined life, or what is the role of examination, what is the role of exam in life, and how in the second part here we will write about how we can examine our life, how we can examine our life. The question is about the examination here, examination and the life, how an unexamined life is not worth living. And we need to write this question in two parts. First is what is the role of exam in the life, and why unexamined life is not worth living. Why unexamined life is not worth living. We will write this in the first part. Why unexamined life is not in the worth living. So we will write the 5-6 points and we explain those points with examples. Without example in ethics, you cannot get good marks. Okay, so let's see what are those points we can write. But before going to the body part, let's see what can be the best introduction for these kind of the questions, these kind of the quotes. So we can write in the introduction like, examination of life is necessary to attain the higher meaning of life. To attain the higher meaning of the life means, if we are going through the continuous examination, we can attain the higher meaning of the life, attain the higher meaning of life. Without examination, if we can say, without examination, there is no difference between the animals and the human being. What is the difference between the animal and human being? Animals are surviving for their foods, for their physical needs, but the human being using their minds, working on themselves, improving ourselves day by day through the various kind of the examination. If we are not going through the process of the examination, we are not able to check ourselves, we are not able to see the progress from the last few years. So this is the role of the examination. So this you will write in the introduction. Examination of life is necessary to attain the higher meaning of life, and an unexamined life remain equivalent to animals who lives only for their physical needs. This is enough for the introduction. Means the 15 to 20 words is enough for the introduction in these kind of the questions. Okay, now let's come to the body part, where the question is demanding about why unexamined life is not worth living. We need to give our argument and we need to support our argument with some examples. Why the unexamined life is not worth living? क्यों नहीं है? बिना examination के life का कोई worth क्यों नहीं है? तो we need to give the examples. Even we can quote the example of Ashoka, we can quote the examples of Gandhi ji, where he was focusing on the life, and through the various examination he had a trust on the non-violence. Similarly, in the case of the Ashoka, after the Kalinga War, he introspect himself and find that he require wisdom instead of the finance, instead of the economy. So that we need to be discussed in the body part. So let's see what we can write in the body part. We will do that one by one. So in the body part, we can write the first point here, the contribution of society. Without the examination, without checking ourselves, without going through the various examination in our life, we are not able to check our contribution into the society. If we are going through the various examination, we can assess how we are contributing to the society, in what matter we are contributing to the society, but without examination it is not possible. So here the very good examples is here about the Valmiki. He was decade initially, but after the realization, after going through various examination, he moved toward the Saintism and he wrote Ramayana. And Ramayana was the contribution, was the major contribution of the Valmiki to the society. That's the need of examination, so that you can assess about what exactly required. So these are the kind of the example you need to be mentioned. Second, if we see the second, progress in the life. If we want to see where we are standing out, like we are at this place, how we can check we are improved or not? हम कहाँ पे हैं? Where are we stand? How we can check the progress in the life? Without examination we can check? No, never. We need to check through the examination how we are progressing in the life. When you are going to attempt the UPSC exam, UPSC preliminary test, you are checking yourself, you are checking through the mock test. Now the mains examination on 15th September, you people are checking through the mock test how you are performing, how is your progress is going on in the test series, so you can work on them. Similarly, in the case of the life, if we want to see the progress in the life, we need to go the various kind of the examination. And continuous examination make one wonder whether he is seeking only for the economic or seeking for the wisdom. Here in the life, we can see even we can seek for the wisdom or we are seeking for the economics. What's required? What required here, the wisdom or the economic? So here's a great example of the Ashoka. After the Kalinga War, he adopted the Buddhism, the middle path, the path of Dhamma, and he realized about the materialistic world and he want wisdom at that time. So he preached for the Buddhism. He spread the Buddhism, adopt the Buddhism. So this is the progress in the life. He had this clear funda about the materialistic world through the various kind of the examination life. Next point we can write here, the realization of the own potential. Realization of the own potential. If we are not going through the examination, we cannot check our potential. If we are not appearing for the UPSC, we cannot check our potential if we are eligible or not. The same funda in the life. If we want to realize our potential regarding the some kind of thing, we need to prepare for that exam. We need to go through that exam. So realization of the potential is the major requirement here. Here the example given, the women participation, the increase in the women participation, the realization of the potential of the woman. And now we can see they are leading in the various organization. If we can see the number of women in the parliament is also increasing from the last parliament session, the last Lok Sabha. So that's the realization of the potential. Women are also the equivalent to the man, and that only the realization when they get the opportunity to appear in those kind of the examination. And the realization how we are improving, what steps we are on a ladder. The realization of our potential here. So the 3 points, the contribution of society, the progress in the life, the realization of the own potential. The next we can write about the check unethical practice. When we are moving through the examination, we are realizing about some kind of the practices. In the later period of life, we are realizing this is not a good habit, this is a unethical for me. So it helps to check the unethical practice as well. It helps to check the unethical practice as well. Its questioning make one to question your own unethical pursuits and the negative impact on the society. When we are checking the unethical practice, we are looking at the negative impact on society as well. जब हम चेक करते हैं इसका unethical क्यों है, किस केस में है, we are checking about the negative impacts as well. So when the Naxals are surrendering, even if it's Naxals, even if it's a terrorist in some of the area, when they are surrendering themselves, means they are tired of unethical practice adopted and they want to contribute in the society. So for checking the unethical practice as well, the examination of life is the more important. Positive attitude. Next point we can come here. is the positive attitude. Examination build up positive attitudes in the human beings. Through the examination, when you start clearing the examination from the one step to another step, there is a kind of the positiveness, there is a kind of the positive attitudes, and then you are sticking to the one kinds. Like, for example, Gandhiji was stick to always to the non-violence. He was always positive toward the non-violence. He always questioned the violence. He always questioned the impact of the violence on the society. So that's developed through the examination, the various kind of the examination in the life, the positive attitude. Examination keeps one positive in life, where he could perceive the impact of his action in the long term. So when the Gandhiji came into India in the 1914, he was checking on the various exams, the various protests, even it's the Ahmedabad mill strike, even it's the Kheda Satyagraha, even it's the NCM, even it's the CDM. He will always stick to the non-violence. That's developed the positive attitude through the various examination. And the self-awareness, the best example is the Bhagat Singh. In the case of the self-awareness, he was aware his contribution is required for the society before the independence. He wanted to work for that. He had clear in his funda, and he is the best example for the self-awareness. Examination make one more aware about its bias, about its emotion, about its prejudice. So सेल्फ अवेयरनेस एग्जामिनेशन से ही आपको इन सब चीजों के बारे में पता लगता है. दीज आर द फ्यू heads, subheads, examples you need to be right in this answer. This is decoding the quote. Why unexamined life is not worth. So we need to be give those examples. जिसके through we can check the worth of our life. Even if it's the contribution to society, progress in the life, realization of the own potential. Then we talked about the checking of the unethical practice in the long term. Then the positive attitude of the Gandhiji and the self-awareness. So this is the main requirement of the answer. So you need to be write these points, but you always make an argument with the example supporting it. Without examples, you are not completing the demand of the questions. Okay. Now let's come to the part how we can examine one's life. कैसे हम check कर सकते हैं? Through the introspection. When we are introspecting ourselves, like in this UPSC examination, if you are making the mistake continuously and we are not passing the prelims, then again we are introspecting ourselves, again we are introspecting our preparation where we are lacking out. Similarly, in the case of the life, we need to introspect ourselves, we need to introspect again and again ourselves. So we can examine our life. The self-introspection. The self-introspection is the much important in the examination of the life. Then in the case of the communication with the conscience keeper, for the some person, for the some people, this conscience keeper can be the God. For the some person, this conscience keeper can be their friends, their best friends. So that communication with the conscience keeper is required. It can be the God, it can be the parent, it can be the friends. For that it's required. Then in the case of objective, means we need to have a specific objective for the life. We need to have the specific objective for the life. The specific objective need to clear about the aims and achieve and deliver to be able to examine and generate the empathy. So everybody have to a clear idea about its aim, its objective in the life. Have to be clear idea about the aim and the about objective in the life. Okay, so this is the main demand. First demand was the how, why the unexamined life is not worth living, and the second part, how we can examine our life. It can be the self introspection, it can be the objective, it can be the some other parts, it can be the conscience. So that's the part of the life through we can examine. Now, last part of the question is here, how we can conclude these kind of the answers. So we need to be right about the examination in the life here. Examination bring the rationality. Examination bring the purpose. Examination bring the long-term approach to an individual life. So that we can write in the conclusion. It bring purpose, it bring rationality, it's bring approach, long-term approach in the life of the people. So we can use these kind of the wording when we're writing about the conclusion. Mediation on a regular basis, reading the new kind of the books, meeting the successful people in the life. So these we can write in the conclusion. So this is done for today. This is the main question demand. I hope you understood what's exactly the question demand, how we can break the questions. So we will meet tomorrow again with the new question on ethics. Till then, please try to write the question and submit to the portal so we can evaluate it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.